Awesome. R2Facts is already in the building. Okay. Uh, I just sent you a request.
Hey,
Hey, what's up?
how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I had my wisdom teeth pulled the other day, so
Get out of here.
I'm a little swollen.
Oh, but you feeling
Yeah,
okay?
I'm feeling a little loopy.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
too bad. I'm actually better today though.
they
Yeah,
gave you meds and stuff, right?
yeah, and I hate taking medication. I'm not one to take medication. You got to force me.
Same here. I totally agree. And I agree with that. Like
So
that's
what's yeah? So what's been going on? How you doing?
well, we holding it down, doing the show, doing the rezo, doing Instagram, and I got another short video app that I just started on as well. So
Okay.
just trying to bring it all together. I'm also
I
on YouTube. So
okay. So what you trying
yeah.
to do? Or what you trying to do?
Well, basically with this here, it's
Hmm.
specifically to um promote brand awareness, social media brand
Got you.
awareness
Got
with
you.
everybody that I bring up.
Yeah.
And it's all about self-awareness, self-development, and everything
Hmm.
social. So it's
Yeah,
all
yeah,
about
yeah.
the interviewee, you know.
Okay. Okay.
Whatever you guys come up that you want to discuss. And of course we talk about Rizzle as well because we're all
Of
from the Rizzle.
course.
But whatever it is that you guys want to discuss, basically, that's what we go forth and we discuss.
Okay.
So the floor is going to be yours in a few. You're going to introduce yourself and then we're just
Okay.
going to take it
Okay.
from there. And based on what you say, then I'll retract and ask you a couple of questions that are
Yeah, yeah,
appropriate
yeah.
based on what you say.
I see
All
my
right.
man. I see my man Ryan's here. So when you want to start?
Hi,
We gonna start now,
Ryan.
or we gonna start
And
now, or
we
start
have
at 8 o'clock?
we have Jay Nice
I
in the
say, I
building.
say, I see, I see.
Chaser, thank you so much for being here. Let me send it out to a few people so that we could have more on because I
Okay.
know a few were
I'm gonna do the same
requesting.
thing. I'm gonna do it from my
Of
phone.
course, no problem at all.
Let's see. So how you been doing this whole pandemic, girl?
Well, we're dealing with it. That's all I could say.
That's
Dealing
all
with
I
it the
can
best
say.
that I could possibly, deal with it because
There you go.
it's an adjustment.
It really is.
Dwayne, thank you so much for being on. Jassim, he's here. He's just sharing the live.
Yeah, I'm sharing the live and getting some
Christine,
something to
thank you
drink.
so much for being on with us.
All right, let's
Zaki, I
see.
hope I'm saying it properly. Zaki underscore one and E.
I got my wife's cup. I'm a Gemini. I'm drinking out of her cup.
Uh,
Let's see. So where you at? What state are you in?
I'm in New York.
New York. Wow.
Yes. And where are you now? Because I know you travel all over the place. So where are
Yeah,
you now?
I'm staying put now. I'm in Arizona.
Arizona. Okay.
Arizona, the hot spot, swing states. I can't even watch the news anymore, girl. I had to turn it off.
Yeah, you have to self-control,
Yeah, it was
and
on
control your
in the
thoughts.
back. I'm like, because I'm always talking about healthy eating, healthy living, and you got to think what you put inside your brain is also
What you consume.
health, what you
That's right.
consume. So I'm
That's
like,
part of health.
let me put this stuff down. I don't need to watch this stuff all the time because I was going
Yeah.
back and forth, CNN, Fox, MSNBC, who got
Yes.
BBC, what's going on? I'm like, you know what? Let me just stop. But I'm in
Yeah.
school now, so I took a different
Wow.
role in the whole ecosystem of media. So I kind of stepped back, and it's funny when I stepped back, everybody was reaching out to me saying, "Hey, help me do this, mentor me." I'm like, I have no time now.
I
You
see.
said I got my Blackwater here. I still rock them though.
Okay.
So that's my this is my first. My first sponsorship. Yeah, I've been with them for whew, almost 3 years now. So
Okay.
I was filming lifestyle shows and podcast
Mm-hmm.
shows, and so going back, I train NBA players. So
Mm-hmm.
it's rare that I find a product that I like. So and my wife's always playing jokes on me, so I thought it was a joke. I'm like, Blackwater. I'm like, you being funny? Blackwater, really? She said, no, it's good because
Wow.
my wife is Malaysian, so she's Thai and Indian
Okay.
mix, and she's always
Okay.
playing jokes on me. She's always trying to prank with me. We got a good relationship. That's my homie. So
That's a plus.
yeah, so people will give us product to review on the show, and I didn't have anything one day, and she bought this at Ross, and she was like, "Put it on the show." I'm like, "I'm not putting no Blackwater on TV." She says, "I'm sorry." She says, "It's good." I'm like,
And it took
"Okay,"
off.
and it took off. So
Mm-hmm.
it stayed on the counter for like 4 months. And then one day, me and my old co-host, we didn't have anything to talk about. And I'm like, let me try this stuff. So I cracked it open and I'm like, Blackwater. I'm like, let me see. I'm like, tastes like water. I said, why is it? It tastes like water. I'm like, why does it look like Coke? So I did the research. I'm like, okay, full of trace minerals, pH balance, electrolytes. I'm like, this is some good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I reached out to the company. So get this. I went to their website. I was on their social media. I was like always calling them, leaving messages, nothing. And then 3 months go by, and I get a phone call from one of the CEOs, and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
What you trying to do?" And I'm like, "I filmed this show. I used to train these people, and I just want to put your video, your product in my video. It says play is ad placement." And they were like,
Nice.
"Okay." No one's ever reached out to us like that before. Let's try it out. They sent me a couple cases. Next thing I know, things started snowballing. People thought it was my company because
Nice.
I would always talk about, you got to try it, you got to try it, and then they got bigger and bigger and bigger. So we have a good relationship. So I love the good people of Blackwater.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's the way to work a sponsor, though. That's exactly the way you work a sponsor. And I'm glad that you actually shared that piece before we
yeah.
even got into all of it, because
Because I know
people
you
need
got
to hear
questions.
that.
Yeah,
People need to hear that. People need to hear that because you know what? You're a full-fledged influencer. And being
yeah,
a full-fledged influencer is actually being able to represent your sponsors
yeah,
and your affiliates, you know?
yeah.
So without further ado, introduce yourself, let people know what you do,
How you doing?
and let's
My
take
name
it.
is Ramiro, aka R2Facts, and I'm just so happy to be on this show today. I know you got a lot of questions for me, and for my girl here. I'm just a fly on the wall. It's just I'm just a humble servant.
You really are.
Oh,
So
thank you so much.
doing the research on you, realized that you're a host, you know, watch a few of your videos, which I
Hmm.
thought was very interesting on the work that
Thank
you
you,
really do. So I want to congratulate you before we even get into details with that, because the
thank you,
stuff you talk about is very diverse and
thank
they're
you.
quite touching. Some of
Yeah.
them are put in a skit format.
Hmm.
I believe maybe your wife is also involved in it too,
She's
right?
in one of them. Yeah, she's in a couple
Yes,
of
I
them.
did see one with her in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, the whole theme of the gist of your whole hosting is just very peculiar. And I
Thank you.
think that people need to hear more about it or see more about it
Yeah, I
because you're
appreciate it.
doing some big things. You really
Thank
are.
you. Thank you so
Mhm.
much. It's just,
You're welcome.
and I have to give credit to God. I mean, no matter who you are, what you believe in, the universe, whatever, God has been good to me. I can't
Yeah.
really complain. It's like I didn't wake up one day saying, "Oh, I want to do this." It kind of just fell on my lap. Um, Even
Hmm.
the whole fitness industry, even the whole media thing, because my mom was overweight, and I worked with her. She complained of her knees, her ankles. I'm like, that's just a weight issue. If you lost some weight, you would feel better. And you can't talk to a sister that way. She's like, boy, I'm your mama.
Hmm.
Don't talk to me that way. So I let it go. So she gained more weight. I helped her lose this weight. And I'm like, well, shoot, I could do this for a living. So I left Oakland, California. I moved to San Antonio, Texas. And that's when God blessed me. So I was training Steve Smith's wife, Millie Smith,
Hmm.
and Tony Parker's original fiance. So I had
Hmm.
them two. So I'm working with them. And she was like, well, you about the same age as my husband. Why don't you train him? I'm like, okay. So my original job was to stretch him before the games. I'm 51. I'm in my 50s. And he's a few months older than me. So he's like, train me. I'm like, okay. So that's how I got him. So I got him. I worked with Antonio Daniels. I worked with half of the Spurs wives at one time, and God was good. But it wasn't until I jumped rope on TV for an hour straight, then Fox hired me
Hmm.
because they have this fitness show. Well, it's a segment called Workout Wednesday that comes on daytime at 9. And I knew the host and I knew the co-host. So I called and was like, hey, what y'all doing? Blah, blah, blah. Once you guys do an actual activity, people don't want to just talk about fitness. Do something. They said, what you got in mind? I said, how about I jump rope for the whole hour while you guys just talk? They're like, yeah, right. I was like, I do it. So they had a live camera on me. It's on my Instagram if you
Hmm.
saw it. So I jumped rope and they were like, wow, why'd you do it? I'm like, because I gave her my word. I was like, he was like, nope, that came from somewhere else. So if you saw my last interview, not what's your story, but Get Naked with me, when
Yes.
I exposed everything. So
Yes.
I talk about domestic violence. I talk about being wrongfully convicted.
Hmm.
I talk about molestation. And I can talk about it now because it gave me the courage to actually talk about it, because the more I kept it a secret, I was actually empowering it, if that makes any sense. Because
Yes.
the more you are transparent and you just give up on yourself, nobody can hold anything against you, if that makes any
Absolutely.
sense. So I jump rope and the co-host was like, why'd you do it? I was like, is you my hero? Because he was actually in jail for like 9 years. I needed too. He was like, you? I'm like, yeah. He was like, I'm supposed to go to this prison and mentor these men as part of me getting this job at Fox, because Fox gave him a job. He's on TV today. And
Hmm.
so he took me with him, and I was a little nervous. Because I had never been back to an institution like that in like 20 years. So
Mm.
before I go, he was like, the warden knows me. They don't know you. You got to tell your story. I'm like, damn.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I had to write an email. So I wrote an email to the warden, and I got the email back, and all it said was, wow, can't wait to meet you. So when I get there, I'm still like, I'm PTSD. So I get there, she gives him a hug. She gives me a hug, and she's like, ooh, the men are gonna love you. And I'm like, whew. So when we get around, and it's a snippet on my Instagram. It's not a video
Hmm.
because you can't bring
Yeah.
cameras in, but the warden took a picture. So you see
Hmm.
me actually in there. I'm talking like 800 inmates. And that was
Mm.
the first time I actually spoke my testimony, my story in front of that many people. And at the end of
Hmm.
it, 5 brothers hugged me. And I'm like, uh-oh, it's about to go down. And two of them were crying like, that's the realest story I ever heard. You got to, what's the name of that woman who got you off? Because my case was overturned.
Right.
So it kind of restored my faith into the system, but I didn't say anything for like years. And then my wife was like, you need to tell your story. You might can help somebody else. And I'm like, I'm not ready yet.
Absolutely.
I'm like, I'm not ready. And she
Yeah.
says, no matter what you believe in, if you look at all the faiths and everything, God would take the most messed up person, brush them off, and go, look, see what I did? If I can do that for this person, I can do that for you. So I started telling my story, and it gave me the strength to actually talk about it more. Now, the molestation story, I didn't really just come right out and just go, oh, hey, guess what? That one took some time, because
Hmm.
that one kind of brought back some old demons. Um,
Right.
but that last interview we did, that was rough, because my old co-host, because we did hers before, and we kind of prepped the questions. But when I told her about my story, I was like, you know what? No question is taboo. I want you to ask me everything. So she asked me about molestation, infidelity, marriage, loose. She asked me a lot of stuff, and I really felt good, because in the video you saw me talk about the molestation. I was 6 years old when that happened, and it
Hmm.
lasted for about 2 or 3 years. That was hard. When I finally told my mom, she didn't believe me at first. And
Absolutely.
I think that's one of the fears, especially black men.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You was molested, and then when I talk about domestic violence, that's a different one too, because if you Google domestic violence, over 40% of the victims are men, and they don't talk. So
Absolutely. I know.
let's paint a picture. You see a couple. You see a woman slap a man. First thing you say is, "Ooh, he must have did something wrong. I wonder what he did." Flip the story. Oh, how dare you do that?
Hmm.
You just never know if that makes any sense. So I lived in silence for a long time. I was stabbed, had stitches in my head, on my leg. I still got the scars. And I remember being in the hospital and the police, they said, "We got to arrest her. Do you want to press charges?" I'm like, "Nope." They're like, "Why?"
Mm.
They're like, "Why? Why?" I'm like, I can't do it. I don't want to ruin her career. And I remember the doctors coming in and they were like, "You have the characteristics of a battered woman. We've read case studies about men like you. You got to
Hmm.
talk." I wasn't ready. And then fast forward to today. So my wife's family is all in Malaysia. My co-host was the Filipino girl you saw. She was the one doing
Okay.
she was doing the interview. Um,
Hmm.
so I partnered with her cousin because we have a media company in Singapore, Malaysia, India. We had an office here, and we were doing search engine optimization. We were doing advertisement. I was making videos. I was editing. I wanted to duplicate what BET did, but not sell it. I wanted to have a combination of BET, Telemundo, Univision for black and brown people. I wanted to have
Yes.
our own network. And I was focused, driven. And then something changed. The pandemic happened. I was still driven,
Hmm.
still focused on running this media. I personally managed 5 social media accounts. I would do their creatives. I would do their lower thirds. I would edit. I would film. I would do drone shots. I was going. I was hustling. And then my
Hmm.
aunt passed away. Freak accident. Slipped and fell and broke her C2. Was in a coma. Never
Hmm.
revived. And I'm like, something's not right. And I'm looking how the world operate, and I'm looking at things that are essential. Like, you mean to tell me the government can shut your business down? If you got a restaurant, you closed. What was
Hmm.
essential in Arizona? Golf was essential. They stayed open, so people can still play
Hmm.
golf.
Right.
Um, Tennis closed. Massage parlors closed for only
Cool.
4 weeks, and then they were back.
Hmm.
Barbershops had closed, but you know what stayed open? Hospitals, of course. Hospitals and clinics stayed open. I'm like, I need to do something that's essential. What else stayed open? E-commerce took off. That really boomed. Amazon went up, streaming went up. So I was like, I'm in my right
Hmm.
field. So I'm like, you know what? Streaming, this I'm gonna do because we have a streaming component as well. Visto
Okay.
TV. I don't know if you saw that too. So I was focused. So when she passed away, I went to California and I was just looking at the state and I was just looking at the fires and I was looking at my life and I was like, I need to create my own wealth. And then someone's like, "What do you mean? I mean, you're successful now." I'm like, "No, it's not about the money. I want to leave a more of an impression or a lasting legacy for more people to
Hmm.
follow." Because
Right.
I'm actually the vice president of Arizona Asian American Association, which is a nonprofit organization here in Arizona. I'm also the
Hmm.
president of a nonprofit Lions Club chapter that we run too. So what we're doing is looking for some land to build some sustainable living for survivors of domestic violence, sex trafficking, and people who have been incarcerated.
Mm.
So we do a lot
Yeah,
of
we're back.
outreach. So we're back. I'm sorry. So after that, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to school. And people were like, yeah, right. I'm like, I think I need to step down. They were like, you're gonna step down. You're gonna walk away. I'm like, yeah. So I've been in school for the last 3 months.
What are you taking in school?
Ooh, statistics, sociology, and I just started another class, English. So I'm writing papers, reading papers. I'm doing all kind of stuff. So there's a
What is your
couple.
major supposed to be?
Oh, it's physical therapy, so I can get
Okay.
into. There's a
You're doing
there,
the prerequisites.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm prereq. There's a prerequisite I have to take because I'm going to this DO school that I'm applying for, but I got to get those prerequisites out of the way. So I'm just doing some grunt work right now.
Oh,
So
so
in the
you're gonna apply for doctor of
DO,
osteopathy afterwards? You're gonna go for
yeah,
that?
DO,
Yeah,
yep, yes, ma'am.
yeah.
So that's the
That's
goal.
awesome.
So in five
So you're not even
years,
gonna stay on the PT level.
no, no,
You're
no.
just gonna fly the
Yeah, yeah,
hoop.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have a friend who did exactly the same thing.
Oh, did he? So
Yes,
I had to pick that to get this because you got to pick some kind of major. They said.
you have to. You start with PT though. PT is actually the simple way to go.
Yeah, that's what they told
It's
me.
the easiest route, actually.
It's the
And
easiest route.
then you go to DO. And then once you
Yeah.
DO, you're actually a doctor, the
Yep.
full-fledged doctor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
That's
excited.
awesome. Awesome.
So he mapped it out. So in they said 5, 6 years tops, I should be getting my
Yeah.
white coat. So I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Well, I'm definitely rooting for you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm excited. The kids are excited. My wife's excited. I didn't tell it to me.
Yeah.
I just told my dad a couple weeks ago. He's
That's
like, that's why. He said,
nice.
that's why I've been quiet. You know.
You know what? I think the best thing for you to do is to stay quiet, especially, you
Mm,
see, when you're a creator, you have a creative mind.
yeah, yeah.
That mindset is very different from everybody else.
You
First
right
of
about
all,
that.
you have to stay quiet so people don't all of a sudden say that you're crazy. That's number one.
Yeah.
All right. Number two is that you want to make sure that a lot of the creative type of things coming to your mind, they're not being spoiled by somebody else coming
Mm,
in and shattering that thought for you.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
it
yeah.
happens to all of us as creators.
You
Because
right.
you know what? You see and think that, and you know within yourself that you could do something, but somebody else is like, oh my God, you're in your 50s. Like, why would you want to do that now? You know,
Yeah.
it's automatic. And it's
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
they don't need it in a negative way, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
the way
yeah.
it falls.
The way it comes across. Yeah.
Exactly.
You
And
right.
that's what the issue is. So doing it in silence is, I think, the best thing.
Yeah, yeah,
But to be able to be a man
yeah.
and to reach your highest point of self
Mm.
is really what I want to congratulate you on.
Oh, thank you.
Because
Thank you.
men, it's not easy for men to be able to deep down inside of them, to be able to
Yeah.
be vulnerable and
We
share their
don't talk.
story.
We don't talk.
Mhm.
Men don't talk.
Women do it a lot easier because I guess
Yes.
we have that feminine side of us,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
where
yeah.
we get into emotions.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
when men do get into emotions, they don't want to allow anybody to know about it.
Nope. You're
And when
right.
they
And you
do,
suffer in silence.
yeah, and when they do allow one person maybe to know about it, trust and believe like that person is their all,
That's right. That's
you
right.
know?
You're right.
So I really commend you for actually taking that route
Oh,
and
thank
really
you.
exposing yourself.
I appreciate it. So when I mentor people, I had to look at myself and practice what I preach. So if I mentor boys, I would always tell them that or remind them that vulnerability is a sign of strength. And
Absolutely.
the reference I give them is Achilles and Hector, the Greek
Yeah,
Roman days. Because
yeah,
when Achilles' cousin got killed, he was vulnerable. He was exposed. And there's paintings, there's stories. When he went to go fight Hector, he was wide open. They could have killed him, but they didn't. Like you said, women, they speak. When a man gets his heart broke, what do? Oh, I'm cool. Yeah. Forget
hmm
that girl. I'm good. Let's go to the club. Let's go drinking. You know, we keep everything.
yeah.
That's why I think we die before you guys do. Because we hold everything on inside.
It's true. You guys hold a lot inside. And I speak from knowing a lot of different men who have gone through stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And it's funny how I happen to be one of those who'd be like the person they would come and talk to when they
Oh,
reach
okay.
that point, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about because I'm the listening ear to a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
them. And I'm always the
Mm.
person that's like, you know, you're gonna be okay, whatever. Let's see
Yeah,
what
yeah,
we
yeah.
can do to get you some
Let's see
help,
what we can do.
you know,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
we can
yeah.
connect you and stuff like that. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I've done this type of work to the point where like a lot of them would just confide in me. Like I know
Mm-hmm.
that she's not gonna tell anybody about what I told her, but I could go to her and just pour my heart out, you know? And they'll talk about everything. And I just
Yeah,
be
yeah.
like, all right, you know, just
Yeah.
being of service, being there for people.
There you
So
go.
that's all it is. And I love the fact that you have such a natural love for people and you're
I
just
do.
constantly doing it all the time. Like it's not a part of a plan. It's just like it just happens.
Can you get that cord for me, please? The white cord. I gotta plug this iPad up before so it won't die.
So that's really good. And then you're definitely doing activism with all the work
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you put through
yes.
and
Thank you.
stuff. So it's never ending. So
You're
now,
right.
how did you end up on Rizzle?
You know what? Someone from the company reached out to me
Mm,
a long time ago, and they were like, "Hey, we're about to launch Rizzle. You got to be a part of it because we see what you're doing." And I'm like,
hmm
"Okay," because I can't think of her name. I have the email because she wanted me to make videos initially so
hmm
they can get monetized. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. And then I just never did. And then one day I'm like, you know what? Let me circumnavigate and go back to Rizzle. Let me just go back. So I went back and started making these little videos, and I started to notice some nuances. I'm like, wait a minute, where are my views coming from?
hmm
Where's my analytics? I can't see the demographics. I can't see the age. I can't see the country. I can't see the time when to
hmm
post. And yeah, she reached out. The CEO, she reached out and she says we're working on it. There's some new
Yeah,
things we're working out the kinks, but it's a great platform. And I
it is.
think once more people get a hold of it, it's really gonna take off.
Rizzle is a super platform, I must say.
It
And
is.
and we have both sides. We have international side and we
Yep,
have
yep, 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 yep.
domestic side, I would call it, like people say Indians and Americans or,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's everybody all together in a nutshell.
yeah, yeah.
But that's the only platform, according to my personal experience, that you actually really connect and engage with people
You connect.
because of the response system
That's
with the
right.
videos.
Yeah.
And video never goes out of style. So if you do
No,
a
it
great
doesn't.
video, it's there forever.
It's
And you
true.
just keep, you could
Yeah,
capitalize on it however you want because you could post it
that's
anywhere,
right.
you know?
I say
And
Rizzo is like a combination of like TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn,
yeah,
but you're
yeah,
actually engaging like one on one. You
it's
can
direct
respond.
engagement.
It's direct
It's direct
engagement.
engagement.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, you're right.
I mean, being on other apps is cool, but at the same time, Rizzle, I can't,
I see my
I
man
can't get
Jay's
rid of
here.
Rizzle.
You right. I see my man Jay Z's in the house. He's actually a nurse in New York.
Awesome. I'm
Yeah,
in
I
New
see
York
my man.
also.
I see my man's here. He does a lot. I mean, I love that dude. He works at the dementia unit, and he's
Mhm.
got he's got some stories about COVID.
I'm sure.
He's got some stories even about the mask, and I wasn't really a big fan, and I know better. I mean, I wear one, of course, I wear one, but and he was explaining, he was breaking it down like, no, y'all better wear that mask. I was like,
Exactly.
okay. I was like,
I
okay,
mean,
brother, okay.
yeah, I have a healthcare background also. I'm in healthcare administration for years.
Yeah,
And let me tell you, this whole pandemic thing and the way that it was dealt with was dealt incorrectly, number one. This is public
yeah,
health. Public health has
yeah.
never been, you know, everybody do their own thing. Everybody
That's
must
true.
be on the same wavelength. Like it's a
That's
whole
right. Same
nation.
page. You right.
So in order for the problem to be solved, everybody has to be on the same page.
That's true.
Okay.
That
You
is
can't just
absolutely true.
one area do one thing, another area do another thing.
That's
And
right.
it's just not making sense. You have to all coincide with one another
Yeah.
for
You
it
know
to
what?
go away.
And you know what's
You know,
crazy? What's crazy to me is everybody was on this pandemic lockdown, but you know what's crazy? Each state had their own different laws. Like example, California is still messed up, and
yes.
I got a part time gig to keep my mind going. And we get all these people from California, New Jersey, New York. They're like, oh, yeah, our gyms are still closed. I'm like, huh,
Yeah.
our indoor dining is shut. We've got indoor dining out here. People walk around. I mean, some people wear masks, some people don't.
Yeah.
It's like, it's wild out here. Even
Yeah, it's crazy.
My family in California is like, you better be careful out there. Be careful.
You have to be careful
Y'all doing the
wherever
most.
you go. And the
That's
fact that
true.
every state was just doing their own thing
Yeah.
was the major problem. And then we have poor leadership, unfortunately,
Yeah.
because if
Yeah.
you can't take initiative for the entire nation to actually be put in a position where everybody's going to do the same thing, and then it's going to like save lives, mind you. I mean, what else can you do? Like, really?
You're right. It's almost like having more than one child. If you got like 5 kids and you discipline 2 of them, like, and they're good and they listen to you, and the other 3 they just doing their own thing. Like, whoa, wait a
Exactly.
minute. What's going
Exactly.
on? What's going on?
And the thing about it is this, the over 200, almost 300,000 something deaths is what we're actually paying for
Yeah,
right now. That's the
yeah.
result of
You're
it,
right.
you
You're
know,
right.
and it's still going. I mean,
Yeah,
I stopped counting how many people that I've lost in this pandemic, or
yeah.
how
You're
many
right.
people who I know have been affected, like people of people. It's a domino effect.
It
And it
is the
should never
domino
be that
effect.
way. It's not the first time we've been hit with pandemics.
No.
We've
And
had
it
pandemics
won't be the
before.
last.
Exactly. And we had pandemics before where you would not even hear about it. You would not even feel it. Like it was just like a touch, not
Yeah,
even a physical touch, but it just waved through, but it's resolved.
yeah.
What
You're
is it
right.
that they could not resolve?
Yeah, you're right. And you know
I
what's
mean,
crazy? And the rest of the world has been watching this. They probably
absolutely. And
they
we
probably
luckily, and we look like freaking fools on our side, okay? Because we can't handle this. It's
yeah.
so
And
simple.
Canada was like, we gonna close our borders because you still can't go to
Because
Canada.
of that, I missed my cousin's wedding because I could not go to Canada.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, I was at a
Wow.
wedding on August, yeah, in Montreal. I couldn't
Yeah,
go because of that.
but you know who's open, and I'm shocked. Mexico. Of all countries, they should have been like, nah, y'all talk about me. Y'all talk about we got criminals and rapists and killers, and we closing our borders too. But they was like, okay, come on. Because they need that money too. They need that
Yeah,
tourism.
they
It's like,
do.
shoot,
But you know what? Their situation over there is way lower than ours.
it's way
You know,
lower. That's
in terms
crazy.
of economy,
Yeah,
because I visited Mexico before, and let me tell you, they are poor,
yeah, they are.
very
I
poor.
like I like it down there. We go too sometimes. I
Mhm.
like it.
So
They treat you
Mexico
nice.
City, especially,
Oh
you know,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
it's critical down there.
It is. You're
But if you
right.
go to the outskirts, like you go to Acapulco and you go to a lot of other places like Puerto Vallarta and all these other places,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you'll be fine. But
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a touristic area. You're going to be spending more,
That's
you
right.
know,
That's right.
but it's still better. But at the same time, I mean, if you really want to go to the city and really see
My
what
man
the
said,
country has to offer,
My man Crohn's Crusaders. He was like his friends in Germany. They on their second lockdown.
see,
That's crazy. And my wife can't go back to her country. It's like, nope, you can't go here. She can't even go
yeah.
back home if she want to.
There are a lot of places you cannot go to right now. I missed my trip to Cuba in
Mm,
June. I couldn't
mm.
go, and it was going to be my first time going. I was so excited. I couldn't
What?
wait, and yeah,
So,
and I was
so
just
the
happy.
only place you can go is like the United States. You can go to Hawaii.
Yeah, but when you go there, you got to quarantine anyway.
You got quarantine.
And when
That's
I got to quarantine when I get there for a bit, I believe, and when I come back before I return to anything here, I have to quarantine again, of
yeah,
14
yeah,
days.
yeah.
So it's like, because I know somebody who from New York went to Georgia, and when they came back from there, they had
Woo.
to quarantine.
Oh, you know what? Same thing here because this cat from Chicago, he said when I go back, I got to quarantine. I said why? He said because
Yes,
Arizona is considered a hot spot. I'm like,
hotspot.
oh,
Yeah,
okay,
you have
okay,
to, and it's all part of the precautions that you have
yeah,
to take.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Which with all due respect, I'll do it, but it's a lot of days. Like everybody doesn't have all those allocated times,
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
take that. So
You're right.
yeah,
So
but we
so
have
my
a lot of people in this weight room coming in.
oh, that's good.
Um,
Let them come on in.
Mr. Mr. Big Gene is in here. Oh my goodness. We have Erica. It's a long name. Erica Bandera
Let's see. Hey,
Damilo.
baby.
Welcome. Crown Crusaders.
Oh yeah,
Giselle
Crohn's Crusaders.
Ferrer,
Yeah. See, my cousins in here too.
Breslin
Man.
to Fully, A Baby.
Hey, baby. She's so
It's a cute
funny.
one.
She did a viral TikTok video where she was talking about some tea. She had
Oh
me
my
cracking up.
God.
She's Laotian, so she went to the Asia market and she was like, "Hey, hey, forget go. She got a little potty mouth, but I love it. She was like, "Yo, y'all ain't got to go to the gym. Y'all can just drink this tea, and it's this Asian slim tea." And she was like,
Hmm.
"Look, I look." She says, "I don't work for them or whatever, but your booty hole gonna be on fire. You're gonna lose a lot of it's water weight, but she said it's gonna flush your intestines out." She ain't
Yes,
lying
yes.
because that tea ain't no joke. It cleans
Yeah, there are
everything.
some teas out there that will do that to you though. But it's a good weight loss thing, but you can't be on them all the time. You
No,
cannot
you
be on them
can't.
all the time. Oh my
I,
goodness.
I think it's the food that's killing us though. If you think about it,
Well, what you eat definitely. It
yeah,
depends on your choices, your personal choices.
that's true.
With this pandemic, it has worked for me in many different ways because I've been working from home
Okay,
since March.
since
Yeah,
March, yeah,
since
yeah.
March. I've been working from home. So
Wow.
with that being said, um, I stopped taking the opportunity to actually buy food outside, you
Okay.
know? So end up staying home, cook, do whatever I need to do. But I'm not eating out, I'm not
Yeah,
ordering
yeah.
in or anything like that. And that made a tremendous difference in my health.
Okay. Yeah. See,
You know,
and drinking more water probably.
and drinking more water. I mean, really having my fruits and vegetables, like really
There
being
you go.
conscious of what I need to put in my system
Mm,
and
mm.
reducing on carbohydrates and starch, and all that stuff has really paid off for me. I've
Okay.
lost a lot of weight just being home.
Go figure.
Being home
Look
and
at that.
watching what I eat and making
Yeah.
better choices.
There you
So
go.
that has helped me a lot.
Yeah,
And I think I'm going to continue
there's
to.
definitely been. You gonna continue to do it?
Yeah, definitely.
There's
Yeah,
definitely
because
been
I
some
I
silver.
feel the energy level is different for me, totally different.
I got
Mm.
you.
I don't have
How
no
are we
issue.
gonna?
Like I used to have issues like let's say sometimes going to sleep because I can't sleep off directly,
Okay.
and then with that being said, the wake up would have been like a whole nother
Yeah,
extra,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like I just can't because I'm so overly tired. But now
Mm.
it's just like I don't have an issue. It doesn't matter what time. Like I'll just go to bed and I'll just sleep real nice deep sleep and I'll wake up at my appropriate time. And that's it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'm
No
just ready to
alarm
go all the
necessary.
time.
No
You know,
alarm needed.
no, I'm just ready to go. And then, there's sometimes depending because I do end up being a workaholic, in terms of, yeah, a workaholic in terms of,
Yeah,
doing too much. So I get
yeah,
overly tired, but at the same
yeah.
time, I still get the energy that I still replenish on the energy I'm supposed to have, you know,
Okay,
so I don't have an
okay.
issue with that.
So what's next
I
for
think
New
it's
York?
better.
What's next? Have they said anything? What's next?
Well, with New York, I mean, we're still in quarantine, but it's a lot better than before. It's not like a major shutdown like it was apparently like when we just started like back in March.
Mm.
But there are some places that are hot spots within New York that they're trying to pretty much control at this present time. And
Mm.
because of that, then, they make sure that the mask is mandatory whenever you do step out, when you go to the groceries, in a store,
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah,
public,
yeah, yeah,
you're around people. Of
yeah,
course, you have to wear your mask and
yeah.
everything. You work for yourself and you work for other people as well, and
That's
stuff.
true.
So
That's true.
make sure you that's really what we do. But when you take in like the trains, like public transportation for sure, you definitely need your mask
Yeah,
to
that's
be
true.
on.
Hey, Sheena,
Mm.
that's
But the
true.
thing with me is that I don't do public transportation, thank
Why
God.
not?
So
That's all in New
because
York.
I
That's
don't
all
need
y'all
to,
got. Oh, well, yeah, you working from home
I don't
now.
need to. So I'm working from home and then I have a car, I drive. So
Oh, okay, okay.
anything else is just like, you know, and just get in, drive somewhere, and then come
Yeah,
back. But other than
yeah.
that, I mean, I've been home and
Mm-hmm.
everything. I mean, you have some gyms that started to open and then they ended up closing.
Mm.
Some try to stay open, but you have a very minimal amount of people that really go in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Restaurants opened up, but at the same time, they did like a bistro style.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but now it's getting cold, more or less.
Oh, that's
So
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's getting cold more or less. So you're seeing less and less people doing the whole
Mm,
restaurant thing because
that's
I don't
true.
think they're going to be doing the bistro style in the winter.
Yeah, they're
And
not gonna be
now
doing
it's
that.
still nice. Like it's warm today. It's going to be warm tomorrow.
Yeah,
But when it gets to like really cold weather, like the restaurants won't be able to function unless they
yeah,
do a takeout.
yeah. I wonder what's gonna
So
happen Thanksgiving. What's gonna happen on New Year's Eve? Did they cancel the ball drop?
I haven't heard per se if they
They can't.
did
They can't
exactly
have that.
cancel, but I think they may have it, but you cannot just go and stand in groups like they normally. They probably have it for television purposes,
Hmm.
and that's it. And people stay home and they watch it,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. But yeah, like they have parades. Thanksgiving parade is canceled.
Oh, they canceled it.
Um, Yeah, they canceled the Thanksgiving parade. They normally have a major parade, crossing like with Macy's and all that. That was canceled.
Okay.
Um, yeah, Christmas, they also have a parade for that. They haven't said anything about that, but possibly it's probably going to be canceled.
Mm.
But the theaters in Manhattan, like Broadway shows and all that, have been canceled, and they're
Yeah,
canceled until
yeah.
May 2021.
Woo! Yeah, our movie theaters haven't opened up. They've been closed since March too. Like
Yeah,
Harkins, yeah, you can't see a movie. Yeah, they
yeah,
shut that down.
yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
unless
where
they
we are
change
with
unless
that.
they change it because I don't know how they. And of course, sports they're playing in the bubble still. But I
Yeah.
don't know why they can't sit you
Mm.
like every other row. But I guess when you leave, you know how you gonna leave out. I guess that's the big issue.
Yeah,
How,
that's another thing. And then the thing about it, when they sit you down, even if it's every other row, then they have to do a major cleanup of all those
oh,
seats
that's true.
after
That's right.
everybody is gone. Like every seat has to be disinfected, basically.
That's true. That's
So that's
true.
another process.
Mm.
Like our subway system has a disinfecting system that they put together
Okay,
where
like
where
mist or something. Like shh.
yeah, yeah. They pretty much do it, I think, every day from this
Mm.
time that they started implementing it in March, which
Okay.
is really good. It
Yeah.
helps those who are traveling um, in the subways and stuff. And I do
Okay.
believe that they do it for the buses as well.
Good.
But
Good. Good. Good.
it's it's a lot of work and it's costly, but at the same time, it's a lot healthier because the
Yes, it is.
cleanliness is available,
Yes, it is.
which that was pretty much neglected before,
Okay.
and
Okay.
it wasn't up to par before,
Mm.
and
So
stuff. So
how could I see another? I see my boy DC is
DC,
here. Yeah,
yeah,
he's on Rizzle too.
he is
So
on Rizzle. You had a
so
lot of
how?
them on here. You had
Yeah.
Mitch, you had
Yeah.
Dwayne, you had a whole crew up in here.
And you verified on Rizzle now. I saw that, right?
Yes, I'm
You got the
verified
little
on
blue
Rizzle.
check.
Yes, I got my little blue check.
Yeah,
Yes.
wow. When can I get my blue check? You gotta get like 1 million or something views or
No, no. It involves consistency with the videos.
I
That's
saw
number
that.
one.
Yeah.
Number two, they want you to have, I guess, specific content that you put together, and everything. Being able to do your responses,
Yeah.
showing that part, and really connecting and engaging with people is something that they look for.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
once you have all that, and then it's connected to your Instagram, and they check your Instagram also to see
Oh,
your
okay.
engagement process, to see how you're
Got
engaging
you.
with people,
Got it.
because I guess the engagement part will really give them an idea if you're the type of personality that would bring people to the site.
It's
Um,
funny you mentioned that because that's how somebody reached out to me. It was on Instagram first. And then they were
yeah.
like, hey, we got this platform, Rizzle coming out. So I'm like, okay. So that's when I jumped ship. Cause I sat on
Right.
Rizzle for oof, almost a year. I kind of just
And
sat on it and just didn't do
you're
anything.
watching. You're
I was
watching.
watching.
You're
I was just
yeah.
like, I had the app. I had like maybe my profile up, but I never had any videos. And I'm like, ah, this TikTok, this Instagram, this Facebook. Why don't I need another platform?
Yeah.
And then one day
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Let me go see what they talking about.
Exactly.
and it
Yeah,
kind of brings the whole world together, especially during this
it
pandemic.
does.
Because
Oh,
you can really go, what's really happening in Australia? What's really
hmm
happening in India? What's really going on over here? And you can actually
hmm
see for yourself, like, that's something they don't show or don't tell you on the news.
exactly. And you could hear it and connect with someone who is from over there, basically, who's going to
Exactly.
tell you their experience, which is
Exactly.
ideal, which is totally ideal. So I'm glad that you shared that you were actually on the app for about a year and
Yeah.
you were
I,
simply a watcher.
I was
Because you know
watching.
what? There are some people that do not believe on Rizzo that there are people who are just there to watch. Like they'll watch for a
Mm,
while and they follow
hmm.
people, but that doesn't mean that it's a fake account. It's a real person,
Yes.
but they're just not producing videos,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know? And I think that's important for people to know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's really important because there are a lot of accounts on Rizzle
There's a
that
lot.
people, there are people who are active on Rizzle in terms of
Hmm.
creating their videos, you know, connecting and engaging with people. And you have people that
Look,
are simply there watching
that
everything.
that's you. That's you right there with the
Yes,
little blue
that's
check
me.
mark. They need to see that. What you
Yeah,
got? Seven. You got 1.7 million views. Wow.
yes.
The
I
engagement is
started Rizzle
crazy.
in March, March of this year. I started Rizzle,
What?
March
Oh,
2020.
right when we shut down.
Exactly.
Right when
Exactly. It
we
was
shut
perfect for
down.
me.
It was perfect for you.
What's up, GQ? Yeah, it was perfect for me. So I just put my energy into that, you know, after
Here's my little rinky dink 223,000.
you're getting up there. You're getting up there.
I'm getting there.
You're
I got a
getting
way.
there.
I got a way to go.
But you know what? It's all about the content because
It's
we
all
have
about the content.
a young man who just started and he's already at 40,000 followers.
Oh wow.
Okay. It's all about the content. It's all about
Yeah,
how you capture people.
that's
You
right.
know, it's all about how you capture people and how people get captivated to watching your videos.
In the
You
first
know,
3 seconds.
exactly. And the
Yeah,
thing about it is just that some people, if people love your content, they're
they'll come
gonna
back.
keep coming back.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
they're gonna keep coming back. And
Hmm.
sometimes, you know, having more than one channel also helps as well because you could talk about many different diverse topics.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
so
I've got a
that's one
couple.
thing.
I've got day to day, like what am I doing day to day, and I got a response channel. Like I just respond to
Yes,
people,
it's good
like
to
in
have that. Yeah,
response. I've got that. I got in response day to day, and the lifestyle segments, like the show, just little snippets.
nice,
Yeah,
nice.
we'll
I've seen
see.
some clips where you've shown like things that you're doing, especially like, you know, I know that you were up in Arizona, like when you do your little traveling and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah,
You know, when
yeah,
you're going
yeah,
to the gym, you
yeah.
know, and
I'll do
everything.
that.
I've seen your videos.
Yeah, little Q to Q, like what's
Yeah,
happening. Cause,
exactly.
cause sometimes I
Like
get
be
some
a
crazy.
little bit.
Be like, I get some crazy stuff. Here's a story I got for you.
Okay.
Check this out. So, and I posted it on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
If you are of a different nationality, white folks, and you work at a Mexican restaurant, learn the pronunciation of specific words. This is what I mean. What kind of Mexican beers do you have? Oh, we've got Corona. We've got two Modelos. Oh, what kind of Modelo do you have? We got Modelo regular, and we got Modelo N-word with the ER. Man said, mm-mm. I'm like,
So
whoa,
they didn't
whoa.
say modelo negro. They didn't say negro.
He said Modelo nigga.
It's modelo negro.
My,
That's I got you. I got you. I got
my,
you.
my man said the ER. So I was like, my,
Yo.
my wife looked at me and she was like, "You just say what I
What?
thought you said." I was
Yeah.
like, I was like, I'm mad. I don't want to jump on him yet. Maybe because he was nice. I'm like, well, maybe he
Yeah.
just don't know. So we was with a bunch of folks. I was like, yo, ask them what kind of Mexican beers they got. So they was like, okay. They was like, why? I said, just ask. And he repeated it. He said, mm. He didn't even say nigga. My man said the ER, like I'm like, player. Negra. My man said it like 3-4 times. And I was like, should we tell him? Because he gonna get the wrong crowd.
Exactly.
He gonna get the wrong brother. Huh? I didn't tell him. My daughter, she heard it too. I didn't tell him. He gonna get beat. I'm waiting to watch it on the news. Local man gets strangled.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I'm like, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never heard that before. So my PSA, if you work in a Mexican restaurant and you're not Mexican, brown or something, or whatever the case may be, learn how to say the words.
Yeah.
And there's no drink. Snickers. With the ER.
Snickers.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness. That was a good one though.
My man
That was
said
a good
learn
one.
how to roll the R. My man rolled the R's all right. He said the ER. I'm like, what drink is that?
I could already see your face. You probably was like, what? Like,
yeah,
what you
my
say?
man
What?
said, wow. Yeah, because my wife was in front of me. She looked at me. My daughter looked at me. I was like, did y'all hear that? No, he didn't say that. Let's ask him. Let's ask my man again. He asked him 3-4
My
times.
goodness.
Yeah. And still said it. My man said it with conviction.
Oh
Like,
my goodness.
that's what we got. I'm like, okay, player.
One thing I want to share with everyone is that
Yeah.
when you saw me on Rizzo, and I guess you saw my videos where I announced the interviews, and then you answered one video, and you were like, "How can I get on a show? How can I get on a show? Put me on, put me on. I can talk
Put
about
me
this,
on.
that, that." And the way you came out, like, I was saying to myself, it was so comical. I thought it was so sweet, and I'm like, I'm gonna put him on the show. But I was
Who is
like,
this
I need to
cat?
know about him. I need to know about him. And it
Yeah,
was
who
so
are
funny
you?
how you came up and you were like, listen, go to my Instagram, go here, do this. And you started shooting all the videos to me. And I
Yep.
said to myself,
I sure
wow.
did. I did.
And from that time, I started learning a little bit about you, looking at your videos on Rizzo and looking at everything else that you do. And that's how I connect with people before I do the
Absolutely.
interview. It's perfect through the video. And then I saw you complaining about the analytics, and I thought it was so comical. You know, because you know what, we all want the analytics. We all want
Yeah,
it,
we
and
all of
we
us
all
want to know
want
where
the
they're coming
numbers.
from.
You know, and it would benefit everybody on the platform.
I think so too. I
It
think so
would.
too.
I mean, especially those who know how to utilize it. You
That's
know,
right.
because if you're an influencer, by all means, which you are,
You want to
which
know?
I
You
am.
want to know?
You want to know. You need to know. I mean, because I have mine for YouTube.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah, yeah,
exactly
yeah.
where my people are coming from.
Yeah,
You
me
know,
too.
I know. So, it is
And
essential, and I think that
and that's good for a brand ambassador for sales. Like example,
yes, it is.
say you have a product and you say, hey, I can put this on this platform. I can generate this many views because that equates to dollars and cents. And that's what I
Mm-hmm.
learned when I worked at Fox. Everything's all about ratings. Nielsen ratings is gone. They have a new system now, but it's all about ratings. How many followers? How many influencers do you have? Like
Mm-hmm.
somebody may have 2.5 million followers, but how many active followers do you have? Who's actually
Mm-hmm.
engaging with you? That's why I'm kind of glad that Instagram got rid of the likes. They got rid of the
Mm-hmm.
likes. They're more involved in who responds, who's actually
Yeah, the
clicking,
engagement is
who's
more important.
the
Yeah.
engagement is more important. You know, how many
Mm-hmm.
times was it shared? You know, what country? Like it's crazy because on Instagram, my number one country is Brazil for some strange reason. It's
Mm-hmm.
Brazil, India, USA, and then it kind of trickles down. But on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, it's the opposite. It's it's US, India, and then it kind of trickles on down. So
Yeah.
it's different. And then I started looking at the hashtags. What was I saying? So in media, if you can prove your it's your media card, or if you
Right.
can show your stats, like this is what I have, and then you can ask somebody, hey, give me $500 or $700, and I could put this placement in my ad to get you some more views, to get you some more sales. That has some weight to it. Versus
Yeah.
if somebody says, "Oh, I see my man DC. Is he leaving?
He
He got
he
peace.
back.
Oh, he's back." So
He's back. He right
that
here.
makes more sense if you have versus just likes. Well, what are they saying? Like when I was doing
Right.
the Blackwater, people were like, "What is that? Where can I get it? How did you get it?" So I would always
Mm-hmm.
go, "Hey, go to their website," and then they gave me a code. So I started putting their code in my bio. So if you go to my
Yes.
Instagram, it's all there.
Mm-hmm.
Blackwater, get it here. This is the link. This is my code if you want to buy it. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they've been extremely good to me. So my advice for anybody who wants to be a brand ambassador or just kind of an influencer, reach out to these companies. Reach out to somebody
Mm-hmm.
who's not like top on the list, but somebody who's up and coming who wants to get their feet wet. Example, I remember, you can probably agree to this. ColourPop makeup. When they first
Mm-hmm.
came out, they was hustling, they was grinding.
Yes.
They didn't have a storefront.
They didn't.
They were just all on social media, and they were using influencers. People were like, "Oh, ColourPop, ColourPop, ColourPop." Then what happened? Their sales went up, and all of a sudden,
Mm-hmm.
what else happened? Their price went up, and now they
Mm-hmm.
competing with everybody else now, all
Right.
because they used the power of social media. So
Yeah.
that's what I advise. If somebody wants to be an influencer, you can do it. Just reach out.
You know, I love the fact that you sharing all of this because people really, I feel that people really need to understand the power behind social media. Like you could actually turn social media into your day-to-day job if
You
you really
can.
want to. You could
Yeah.
make it resourceful, create an income from it, as
Yeah.
opposed to just being there and just posting nonsense, you
That's
know.
true.
And the
That's
quality
true.
of your content is where um, the money lies, basically,
That's
you
right.
know.
That's right.
And you have the reason why you tell your story and you go into your most vulnerable state is because you got to grab people in. It's your attention grabber.
Yeah.
So that's how you're going to get people in to understand what you're saying and then
Yeah. Yeah.
believe your thoughts about this product.
Yeah. That's right.
And you don't just write a two-liner
Nope.
because it doesn't work that way. You have
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
really write something
That's
that is
right.
going to be like, wow,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
touched, I'm moved, and I'm
Yeah.
totally inspired, and I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna
My
get it.
man said, take it out his notepad.
You know,
You
it's
are
true.
you're right.
It's really true. I mean, that's what like people. You take a look at my Instagram. Some things I have very long posts. And what
Yeah.
people do not understand is that when you have a very long post, you don't even need hashtags. It's reachable to the entire
It's
Instagram.
reachable. That's right.
Okay.
That's
Because
right.
you're playing with the algorithm,
That's
you
right.
know. So the thing about it is this, people need to understand algorithm because
Yeah.
every platform has its own algorithm. Like you just
That's
said,
right.
you realize that your stats for Instagram of
It's
the
totally different.
followers is totally
Yeah.
different from Facebook.
Yep.
They're like
Totally different.
opposites from each other
They
because
are.
they have different algorithms,
That's right.
you know. But
I
once
didn't
you know
even
how to
mention
work
YouTube.
it,
That's totally different too.
exactly, it's a whole different game. But
Yeah.
once you get an idea how to work it,
My
you're
man
going to
DC.
work it to your best advantage.
That's right. Here's something for you. So a friend of mine, he's got the Fabric Network. He's actually, get this, he's actually Judge Joe Brown's cameraman. I've known him for years. So he's
Okay.
always asking me questions like, how do I do this? How can I increase my reach? How can I increase, my search engine optimization?
Yes.
And I told him this. This is get your pads ready. When you save a video or you save a picture, save it for what you want them to search for.
Yes. That brings
Ex-
up your SEO.
it brings up the SEO. So example, he's got a video. Let's make up something random. fabric of America in Puerto Rico. You know,
Mm-hmm.
just don't save it. Put that into the title. So when you
Mm-hmm.
save it and you upload it to say YouTube, it's going to be up there. And then if you use those same words in the description, it's just the pecking order kind of bumps it up. So my
Yeah.
advice is whatever when you save a video, put some time and some thought into what you're actually going to name it. Just don't
Right.
save it as just random because if you save a video or even a post, a picture, it creates a random number,
Mm-hmm.
just something random like oh save. Okay, you have to specifically call it something. So
Right.
that's what I tell people all the time. You got to specifically do, and he's doing that now. So I'm like, just think if you didn't do it, because it's harder for people who come in and go, okay, and now I got to change your website, search into optimization has to be done a certain way. It just makes it too hard. So by you
Mm-hmm.
doing that now, it's just so much better. So
Yes.
that's my
Yes.
advice.
I totally understand. I totally take
Yeah,
it. And you're so right on that. And I'm glad we could have this conversation.
of
I
course,
feel
of
at
course,
home.
of course. And there's
You know, because not too many
so many
people understand, but everybody want to be in the social media game. And I'm like, look, if you're not ready to really get this part, don't even try it.
don't even
Because this
try.
is like the mechanics. You need to get this part. You need to
Exactly.
understand, or you don't need to be a guru, but you need to have some sort of comprehension.
That's true. That's
You know,
true.
and the little bit that you can apply here and there, and then read books. You know, they have a lot of books on that
There's
stuff.
a lot of books. And it was funny because like I said in the beginning of our live, is I just been blessed in the right place at the right time. So when I was working at Fox TV in San Antonio,
Hmm.
my commute was like 45 minutes long. So instead of me listening to the radio, I would listen to either podcasts, TED Talks, or something motivational. So in the beginning, I used to listen to Eric Thomas. You know, E.T.
Hmm.
It's your boy E.T.
Yeah,
I listened to
yeah.
him for almost a year. And then I stopped because he's always yelling at me. I'm like,
I like Eric
brother,
Thomas.
I like him
Hmm.
too, but I'm like, brother, I can get the message without you screaming at me all the time.
Yeah,
So
yeah. He's tough.
he's tough. So in his YouTube
Yeah.
videos, there was a commercial of this other cat called Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yes.
So
Oh,
I was like,
Gary Vee, that is my boy. I study him. Like
he fought.
this show is derived from inspiration from Gary
Uh,
Vee.
he follows
Okay.
me on IG.
What?
You
I
can see
love
that.
him. I
So
love
if
him.
you go to his page and you see mutual friends follow, you'll see me pop up. So I tell you how that
Okay.
happened because I did an interview a long time ago, and somebody said, "How does Gary Vee follow you? How does he know you?" And I was like, "I got a funny story." One day he posted something random because you know he does stupid stuff. He posted something random, like a leaf, and people were like, "Oh my God, Gary, that's the best leaf ever." Blah 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 blah. I'm like, that's some
He could
bush.
market anything. He could
I'm
market
like,
anything.
anything. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
nothing. So I called him out and he was like, I like that. You caught that. So he started sending me emails. I never talked to him on the phone. My wife has. So
Mm-hmm.
we started having email conversations. And one day I'm like, man, Gary Vee's hyperbole, his stuff works. Because I watched him. I credit him for where I am today. For
Mm-hmm.
just do it. And stop being fancy. I started
Yeah.
doing it. And
Let
then
me
one
tell
day he
you,
was,
every morning I watch a Gary Vee video on YouTube. Every morning.
yep,
He's one of my inspirations.
yep, yep.
And you have to because he started just like us, but the what got him
The
over
wine
the top,
library.
yeah, what got him over the top was his consistency. And he
Mm-hmm.
really ran with it, you know. I
He
mean, he
did.
has books, he's very
Yeah,
inspirational. You
yeah,
could
he is.
listen to him on any topic. He could market anything from a
Anything.
pen to a notebook to technology to
You're right.
whatever, a
You're
hat,
right. You're
he
right.
got it. But one major thing that you have to say, everything is all connected to a story.
Oh yes.
Everything. And this is what we do. This is what we're training ourselves to do.
Yeah, you're
Everything is
right.
connected to a story. Three things you need. You got to be touch, move, and inspired. If you could do
That's
that to
right.
people, you're
Yeah.
good. And that's it.
That's the same thing I tell my when I was mentoring people. If the more senses you can touch, the better. Like I went
Yeah.
to go see Tony Robbins when he came, and I
I
was
love Tony
disappointed.
Robbins.
I was
Yeah.
disappointed because some of my mentors were weaned on his stuff. So
I
everything he
know.
did, I'm like, he worked on the sight, the lights. He worked on the
Yes.
sound. The music was loud. He worked on the touch because everybody who he was around, what did he do? He high-fived them. He worked on the touch. He did
Yeah.
everything except taste. But this is what
Yes.
he did. The first 3 rows were more expensive. They got VIP where you get to eat
Yes.
lunch.
Yes.
You get to eat lunch with
With
Tony
him.
Robbins. I was like,
Yes.
So you're right. The more senses that you can get a hold of, the better. You
Yes.
are absolutely correct.
Yep.
That's right.
And it doesn't
That's
fail.
it. That's why I think rap has changed. Because look at Biggie, look at Tupac. They were storytellers.
Yes, but the thing about it is this old rap, the reason why it had an impact is because, like you said, there was always a storyline
A story.
connected to it, you
Yeah.
know, and that's what gave it the why, you
The
know.
why. Exactly. Isn't that
Man,
something?
we could have this conversation all night long.
You right. You right. You are
But
absolutely right.
GQ got a good comment here. He got two
What do you
good
say?
comments. He said both of y'all could run an online class. That's GQ of those people.
Oh,
And
I appreciate that.
he said, I sign up. I'm very good at creating things that are exciting and entertainment for people, but I definitely need assistance in the promotion and marketing department. Well,
Mm,
I'm definitely in the motion of actually
yeah.
preparing myself to give out classes. So that's something that we're going to be coming out of. Like anything that I know that has made a difference in my life that could be
Yeah.
useful to somebody else, I'm more than willing to put a class together for it. And
I'll co-sign that. I'll help you if you need some information. I'll give it to you.
no
You know,
problem. And we have
you know,
Korean Queen 79. Social equals story, brings emotions, brings imagery,
imagery.
and makes
You
people
speak
speak
on
on
it.
it.
Speak on it. You're
Absolutely.
right. Yeah, Korean
Absolutely.
Queen. Yeah, she dope. I like her.
But you know, she's
She
so
knows her
right. I'm
stuff.
so glad that she brought up the social part
Yeah.
because this is one thing that people seldomly they put on the side. They forget that
Yeah.
when they're on social media, they need to be social. Okay? Which
Mm,
is you gotta try to like people, even if you don't like people, but you gotta show that
yeah.
you like people. And
Yeah. Yeah.
you have to connect with people. And that's why I
You're
love
right.
Rizzo so much because even if you're an introvert, there's going to be a point in time where you're going to have to connect with somebody one way
Hmm.
or the other. And
That's
that's going to
right.
bring you out of that phase to cross over to being a better person,
That's true. That is absolutely
you know,
true. It's funny you
because
mentioned that. It's funny you mentioned that because I'm thinking about so many other stories. Look at the comments and what you said. So when I made the transition from a physical trainer to media, I knew that no matter how much technology we have, you can never duplicate the human touch. And I had
no
my own
way.
and I had my own issues with online trainers. And I'm like, how can I duplicate the human touch? So I said, I know what I'll do. So I filmed the Fitness Chronicles, like a lifestyle
Hmm.
show. I had a host.
Hmm.
We would talk, hey, how you doing? We're here. Then we go to the gym, and then we would send out personalized fitness videos to our clients. Like, hey, Julie, these are your workouts for the rest of the week. If you get confused, hit pause, go back, watch myself, watch my co-host, and I'll see you next week on another edition of the Fitness Chronicles. Bye now. And we only charge $2.99 a month. People bit. I'm like, damn, got residual income. That's when I started beta testing my own streaming company. That's what planted the seed. So I tell
Nice.
everybody, content is king.
Yeah.
If you can control the content and you have it, you do so much better. That's why I
Yeah.
think that's the Beats. That's why I think Beats did so well because he created these headphones and he had a subscription base, where people
Hmm.
had to
Membership.
subscribe to it. He had a
Hmm.
membership, and who saw that? Apple was like, "Ooh, well, we'll give you so and so billion for it," because they wanted to capture those email addresses. They wanted to capture
Yes.
those
Email
subscriptions.
marketing is the key, and the money is in the email. Okay.
Yes,
And that's
yeah,
why I've automated my schedule so
yeah,
I can start my email marketing.
yeah. The open rate may not be that good, but they still
Yeah.
like they still
But
like that.
exactly. And the thing about it is that, with email marketing, you bring it to another level. Just like, okay, now I schedule you
Mm.
guys for this interview.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have your emails.
Yeah, hit Gary Vee up with some questions. He's got a lot of videos.
Yeah, for
Go back.
sure. And
Yeah,
from getting the emails, then if I have something else that's happening in my life where I want to inform you guys, I can gladly do so. But the other part of getting the emails is also creating a closer connection, because now you have these people from all these websites into your own personal database that you
that's
create for
right.
yourself.
That's
They
right.
will never be lost.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
right.
They're yours. So it's like
Right.
they're your people for sure.
That's right.
Because if you got anything going on, anything that you want to market, anything that you want to invite them to, you
Yeah,
just send an email
that's
to
right.
everybody. And that's
Yeah.
it.
You know what's funny? I see these influencers who work. Example, there's a guy on TikTok. He had 2.5 million subscribers, and he worked at Starbucks because he had his little apron on, and he wouldn't talk bad about Starbucks. He would only talk bad about certain customers who came in. They
Mm-hmm.
they fired him. They let him
Mm,
go, but he still had so many followers. He still got more residual income coming in. So this
mm-hmm.
makes so. I'm telling this story to tell you this. When I was teaching martial arts, I created a fan page just for our academy, for all of the
Mm-hmm.
students, all of the family members, and I'll put it on their page, like, oh, the kick of the day, or student of the month, or highlights, or I would do what's happening this week, parents night out. When I left, the main instructor was like, hey, we want that account. I'm like, I created that. That was me, because they wanted those email address. They
Yes,
wanted they wanted
they
the
knew the value that you created.
they knew
It's
the
value.
value of it. I'm like, I'm not giving that
Yes.
to you. Then they were like,
Yeah.
can you shut that down? I'm like, I'm not shutting it down.
Yeah.
I may change the name, but I'm keeping it. So
Absolutely.
so that my advice to anybody, if you work for any company, create your own content. That way nobody can take anything away from you, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense. Like if
This is
you're a singer
exactly what
doing
I'm doing
if
right
you're a
here.
sing if you're a singer or a rapper today, create your you can go on Amazon right now, find your own server. Find your own
Mm-hmm.
server, get your own, I don't have armed reach, get your own 4 to 8 terabyte disk drive to save all your content, because videos take a lot of space. Keep
Mm-hmm.
your own content. Like I tell people all the time. Example, there's two girls who I used to mentor. They had OnlyFans page. And I'm like, do you have a backup to all your videos? They were like, what's a backup? I'm like, a backup is you have it in more than one place. You got it in several locations.
Yeah.
Preferably like a zip drive or something you can that's tangible.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just keep it in the cloud, because if
Right.
they shut down, you lose everything.
You lose
So I say
everything.
everything. Like I got to back up to every video. It's just not
Right.
up on YouTube. So example, remember when Facebook and Instagram shut down last year for a couple of days?
Mm-hmm.
People were like, "Oh my
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
what's going
Yeah.
on? What's happening?"
A lot
Then
of
Twitter,
businesses weren't running because of that too. And if they didn't have their email marketing together, like if they didn't never start email marketing, that day they shut down, period. And if it took 2, 3 days to come back up, they were out of business for those 2, 3 days.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly
So
so.
my advice to people: let this pandemic be a lesson for you. You saw what happened at these businesses. If you mean to tell me if I'm not essential, you can shut me down? What if the internet shut down? Like we closing IG, we closing. You see what's happening right now? You
Yeah.
saw like the Twitter CEO, Twitter Zuckerberg was on TV. You see what they doing? What if one
Yeah.
day they said, you know what? We gonna close for a couple hours.
Just like the whole thing about TikTok. You know what Gary Vee said about TikTok? It was like, why
What?
are you guys so concerned about the shutdown of a platform? As a matter of fact, what you should be doing is getting those people to cross over into your own created database. Because if you do, you're not going to worry about the shutdown. Who cares? Connect and engage with people, create relationships. Because once you do that, they're going to be yours. Wherever you go, they go with
Wherever
you.
you go, they go
And
with you.
that's it.
You know, it's funny. I think the real reason why they said they were going to shut down It's not because it was a security threat. Have you looked at TikTok, like the DIY information they give you, like how to buy a house, how to save money, how to fix your credit score?
Yeah.
That, my friend, that was dangerous. That was the threat. You mean you can't be tell? That's why Tupac and Biggie had to go. You can't be telling
Mm-hmm.
people that to eat right, get educated, stop killing people, love your people.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's the, that's the real threat.
And
TikTok
then
was telling you how
they
to
had
how to
a lot
clean
of
everything up.
yeah, and then they had a lot of humanity calls on there, like
That's
sayings
right.
and everything, and raising the bar for community service
That's
and
right.
stuff. You're absolutely right about that because I did read an article referencing that and
Yep.
everything, and yeah, there was. But then at the same time, there are a lot of things that they were doing underground. Like
Of
I had a
course.
few friends of mine who were saying that they didn't tolerate like rap music. They
Yeah,
were
yeah,
shutting
yeah,
it
yeah.
down.
Shutting it down. Yeah.
A lot of black orientated type music got
Yeah,
shut
yeah.
down
Yeah.
and stuff. Their videos got pulled down and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And that's when I was just like, I don't think that's a platform for me. I never went on that just because of that. I never
Oh,
did.
okay.
And then I ended up on Rizzo, you know. You
Ah,
know.
that's
So
I see
I
you got a
ended up,
story.
yeah. Oh, there's a story for everything. And that you could market. Like once you know how to tell your story, your marketing campaign. You could create your marketing campaign
That's
because
right.
the story is tied
Thank you for
to
the
whatever
love.
it is that you're going to market.
That's
That's the
true.
plug. Exactly. That's
That's
the
the
plug.
plug. That's
You
true.
know,
That is absolutely
I mean,
correct.
right
We
now,
talk.
my Instagram, I tell stories all the time on my Instagram.
Yes, you do. Yes, you
That's
do.
all it is. You go there, you're gonna be like, oh my God, it's long, but let me read it. Once you read it, you
Well, my
find out, you're like, wow,
uh,
that's deep.
Beauty Baby 45 said, just like YouTube, you
Hey,
have to be
beauty,
careful
baby.
what
Oh
you
my God, she
say.
came through.
What you say.
So
That is true. You got to be careful. Sometimes you can't say everything.
no, you can't say everything, but you have to know. Well, first of all, you have to know what to share. Number one, you're gonna share
Exactly.
that's what's related to your purpose, which is your why and your platform. As
Hmm.
long as it's all connected, then it becomes shareable as long as you want to put it out there and stuff.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm talking about real shares. I'm not talking about like, you know what I mean? We're talking about
Yeah.
marketing here. We're not talking
Yeah.
about everyday ludicrous shares, like real stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
marketing stuff. What we talking about?
Exactly. Exactly.
Um, Korean Queen
Strategy.
says, human sense. I can do online training when the check is in only one time a week. Constant
I got.
talk keeps the connection. Communication is consistent regardless. Yes,
That's right.
girl.
That's right. She
Yes.
right. Pay me my money.
Yeah. And GQ was like, dope. Looks like I got to hit up Gary V with some questions. You can follow him on YouTube, follow him on Instagram. He's all over the place. He's on Twitter. He's on
He's all
TikTok.
over.
He's
Yeah.
everywhere. Household name, Gary V.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. So that's how I got, where I am today. It was all through him. Just to be completely transparent. I used to watch his
I really
videos,
like Gary V.
and one day I was like, shoot, this stuff works.
And I like when he calls people out.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
gets raw,
He gets raw.
but
Yeah.
it makes sense. It
It
makes
makes
sense.
sense. It does.
Mhm.
It really does. We shall see. So what else you want to know? What else you want to
At
know?
this point, I don't even know because I didn't even know we were going to get into social media marketing route. And I'm
We
so
got in all
happy
kind of
about
stuff.
it because that's
It
my
just kind of, it
stuff.
just kind of fleshed us. It just kind of flowed.
Everything flows. Yeah, that's the way I do my
Mm.
show. I like it to just be natural.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I'm glad that everything just fell one after the other. But
Hmm.
Korea Queen has a good one here. Email marketing brings worth. Yes, it does.
It
That's
does.
why, that's why too, when it comes to anything related to social media marketing, being a social influencer, they always start you off with self confidence because you have to build up your worth. You have to recognize your value. And a
That's
lot of
right.
people don't realize in order for you to make an offer, which is to ask a price and say that I could do this for this price, you have to understand your worth
That's
and be
right.
like, it's worth my time, it's worth my effort, and it's worth me doing this for you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
It has is the
yeah,
value. So
it's
without
the
being said,
value.
you can't market anything. You have to have
Yeah,
that
you're
correct.
right.
It's all about mindset. It's all
It's all
here.
about mindset. Yeah, yeah. What's your boy say? I follow Gary Vee already and watch his stuff. I didn't realize how available he makes himself to people for questions. Oh yeah. He's starting to change that. He's doing that more often now. I see him on live, especially during this whole pandemic. He
Yeah,
does a lot of lives. He would just randomly pick people.
right.
One thing I learned about Gary is he calls people out, but he likes to be called out too. Like if he does
Absolutely.
something, call
It's
him
not
out.
one way.
It's not one way
It's
with
not
him.
one
It's
way.
like it's back and forth. That's how he started following me. That's how we've had those interactions before. So yeah, if you see something, ask him a question, call him out. He likes
Yeah.
to be held accountable, if that makes any sense. Because
Yes.
he drops a lot of gems. Like he did this
All
one
day.
video. He did this one video. He was like, "I'm gonna show you how to make some money." He says, "Watch this."
I
He got
saw
his
that
phone.
one.
He was
Yeah.
like, he got his phone. He was like, went to the app store. He was like, download this app. It was eBay. Boom, download it. Put your stuff in. Once you do that, come back. People came back. He says, "Did you know you can filter things in there and find out what's the going value?" So I was like, "That's some bullshit. Let me try it." I got the app. He put in salt and pepper shakers. And I'm like, you mean to tell me somebody buys salt and pepper shakers for $300? I'm like, that's some
You'd be
bullshit.
you'd be surprised.
He said go to Savers or Goodwill or any kind of secondhand store. Find the same thing, take some nice pictures and post it and sell it. I'm like,
Mhm.
huh, shit worked.
It does work. It does
Yep.
work.
Because he
I
said,
vouch for it. It does work.
I bet you guys got about $5,000 sitting in your house right now in your garage and don't even know.
Exactly.
CDs, old books, playing cards. He said, sell that stuff. Create
Yep.
your own Amazon store, your own eBay store. Yeah.
Yeah. Or Macari or what is that other one that they sell clothes on? With my
People buy.
clothes,
Oh, yeah.
I've done a lot of that throughout the whole pandemic, and it has
Really?
been worthwhile for me. Like constant recycle, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exchange for cash. Basically, they want it, but it's all usable clothes. I clean it, make it look nice, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Picture done, gone. That's it. And it's worth it because the thing about it, what are you going to do with the clothes if you don't really need them anymore? You don't want them anymore. You're either going to give
Exactly.
them to somebody who probably will sell them anyway, or if you give them to
Exactly.
charity, what do you think they do with them? They sell
That's
them.
right. They
That's
sell
how they
them.
get the money.
That's how they get the
You
money.
know?
Somebody said old dolls. You right, all kind of stuff. If you just
Yeah,
look in your garage and look in the closet, you got something of value right now that
we got a whole
somebody.
bunch of money that we're sitting on, that we're sleeping on,
Yeah,
that things that we don't use anymore. We could just
yeah, you're
move
right.
it, move it.
Thousands of dollars right now just sitting there.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
Like people
you don't
are
even know.
putting in time to create businesses, but the real business that you can start without putting any money out is selling your own stuff because you got a whole lot of extras that
You right up. You right about
that you
that.
could just get rid of and you could
Yeah,
just sell your own stuff and that's it.
yeah. You right.
So
You right.
we have more people coming in here. People keep exchanging. Queen
Who ex-
Ariana, what's up, girl? Beauty baby.
One man's trash and another person's trash. You right. How much
Wrench
the nutcrackers?
Turner, Mr. Wrench Turner, what's up? Peace.
That's true. Investments. You have to know what to do after you sell it. Hmm. You're right. Absolutely correct. So what else do people want to know? What else they want to know? How can we help?
Well,
We talked about
Mr.
all kind of stuff.
Ramiro is on here. Mr. R2Facts is on here, and he's like, let's roll with it. So if you guys
Let's
have any
roll with it.
questions, by all means, put it in the chat
Put it
so
in
we
there.
can talk about it, anything related to social media, because that's his avenue. He's a
Hmm.
host, influencer, and an activist. He is a man who speaks about mental health. He speaks about
Mm,
molestation. He speaks
yeah.
to people in prison. I mean, he
Yeah.
speaks about his
Yeah.
personal story.
Yeah.
He knows about a lot of different things. So if you guys have anything, since he's willing to give us More
Yeah,
time.
whatever you,
Let's
of
do
course,
it.
I'm here. Someone said the best way to get more money is to invest in some land. That is true. Oh,
That
you like my
too.
shirt? Oh, she said like my shirt. Yeah, people, not prisons. Yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate it. What's the best ROI right now? Return on investment. Ooh, that's a tough one. Yeah, I guess it depends on what platform you're. What
It
are you trying
depends
to
on the
sell?
industry. The
It
in,
really depends. It
yeah,
depends on the
the
industry.
industry, and then from the industry you gotta signify your platform. Like for him,
Yeah.
he's into apparel. He's into
Oh, okay.
fashion, you know. So he has a company called Ross and Bridges,
Okay.
rossandbridges.com, and
Okay.
they sell men apparel for the most part. They have women apparel too, but it's
Mm,
hats and a lot of different accessories, shirts, and everything else, and
okay.
stuff. So pretty much related to that. I mean, he definitely would do well with influencers to market his
Yeah.
stuff.
Target marketing is key. Speaking
Yeah.
of that, apparel. That's why Gymshark did so well.
Mm. With the
Gymshark
influencers, with the
with the
influencers.
influencers, yeah, because
Yes.
Under Armour's been out for Nike's been out for eons. They've been out for years. But
Yeah.
Gymshark is a relatively new company. All of a sudden, boom, they came up and they bubbled. So, oh, do you see what Lululemon did? Lululemon,
Yes. Oh my God.
they bought Mirror. It
Ah,
makes sense. I'm like,
it does. I
somebody
was
is
not
thinking.
expecting that though. I was not expecting that. Like I was
Somebody's
like,
thinking.
I remember when Lululemon just started.
It makes sense for them to partner up together.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a matter of time for some other fitness company partners up with a gym or something. Here's
You
something
gotta
else for you.
partner up.
So when the gym shut down here in Arizona, they were all pissed. They were mad. I know one of the CEOs of one of the gyms out here, just in passing, and I tried to get to talk to him and say, look, there's a loophole so your gym won't get shut down. They did this in Texas. The moment you have a doctor on staff, you're not just a gym, you're a wellness center. That's your loophole. They can't shut that
Hmm.
because now you're essential, if that makes any sense. That's why these small gyms, these mom and pop gyms, they were able to keep their business open because they had some kind of we keep our numbers under a certain. You gotta know how to game. You gotta know the game to play it. You gotta know their
Yeah,
rules, if that makes any sense.
definitely. We have an important question here
What's
on
that?
can we speak on return on advertising spend, especially with all the ways to do ads?
Who is? Are they hiring a company or are they doing it themselves?
Well, for me, the best way to actually run ads now is through social media because,
Social
truthfully
media, yeah.
speaking, I mean, social media is just wide open. Number one,
It's
everybody's
wide
on
open.
social media.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're going to run an ad, it's going to have to be social media. But then the thing about it is this you have to, based on the niche and population, you have to know which platform you're going to produce on, which platform is going to be best for you and
That's
stuff. So
right.
I don't know what you're selling, but um, that is something that you would have to decipher and get more specific in, and then you'll
I
decide
think I,
which
I think I
platform would
got
work
I think I
best.
got this from Gary. You might have got this too. People go to different social media platforms because you got to understand the psychology behind it. People go to
Yes.
Pinterest. People go to Pinterest to buy things, and their demographics is typically older, soccer moms, older people 45 and up. People go to
Hmm.
Facebook to keep up with like the news or their families, and they just scroll. They scroll a lot. People go to
Yeah,
Instagram because it's quick. It's a quick advertisement. Like every business should be on Instagram. They should because
absolutely.
when Instagram first came out, the videos were only 15 seconds. Remember that? Which was
Yeah, when
quick.
they just started
It was
originally. Yeah.
quick. And then they went to a minute. Boom. I'm like, ooh, they jumped up quick. They bypassed 30 seconds. They went to a
Hmm.
minute. And a minute is almost like a commercial. Because you can
Yeah.
have, we call them bookends, two 30s or two 15s,
Hmm.
a 30-second commercial. That's a good sized commercial. If it's done right, you can tell your story in 30
Yes.
seconds. In a minute, that's almost like a little mini series.
And
If
then
you
when you
think
guys
about
do
it,
your ads too, you have to tie up the story with the ad. There's
tie
a
your
story
story
for
with the ad.
everything.
for
It's not just,
everything.
okay, I have this shirt right here or this pen right here. It's black, but you know what? I like it. I use it. Can you buy it?
Yeah.
No, that is not the story. That's not going to help you sell it.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? You
that's right.
have to explain the starting point to the middle to the end
Yeah.
as to why you use this pen. What
Yeah.
does it make you feel like? What does it do to you? You know, what does it
Emotions.
make you think? You
Yeah.
know, all the emotions. You got to
Yeah.
get into it
Look
and
at the
stuff.
car dealers. Look at the car dealership. They are kings at that. What car you want?
Exactly.
What color? Go drive it. Feel it. I
Yeah.
want you to imagine yourself picking up your girl and you know what you gonna do. They
You got to get
want you to
connected.
drive. They want you to drive the car, and they get
Yeah.
mad when you don't. Here's the keys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, I don't need to drive it. No, drive it. And just go out to lunch. Like, no, I'm good. They want you to drive it. And speaking of that,
Absolutely.
they were mad when Carvana came out because they're like, oh, they don't ever work. But during the whole pandemic, people at home scrolling for cars. And what they did so good was they made like a vending machine to play to people's emotion. Oh, I'm putting a coin to get something back. They appeal to the novelty of people. If that makes any sense. Like these commercials, they play to your emotions. Does that make sense? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
here's something. I don't get too many of them, but when the bill collectors used to call, they got smart. You know what they do now? Hey, how you doing? Man, I haven't talked to you in a long time. Is this so and so? Yeah, got you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
They
that's
get
part of the
all.
hookup. Once
That's
they
the
get the
hook.
hookup and then they get into the script. Yeah,
They get into the
that's
script.
true.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
before it was like, oh, this is so and so, so and so. People click, click, click. Then they block. They're playing more to people's emotions nowadays. If that makes
absolutely.
any
It's
sense.
all about that.
So
That's what
going
it
back to other
is.
person's question, find out what platform you want to advertise on. Know the
Well, she just told us
psychology.
here that it's going to be Fitness World, the trainer, since you talked on it.
Okay,
Yeah, it's about fitness. So that's your niche.
that's my niche. So are they going to make videos?
Well, I would, you know what, in this day and age, video is not even something to say no about. Like, it's the
You got you.
option, period,
The option. Yeah,
because one thing that people do not understand is that video equates to currency on social
that's
media.
right.
Okay.
That's right.
This is how you get people touched, moved, and inspired. So if you take it upon yourself to do a banging video, a really good video, it lasts
Hmm.
forever. And you're
Yeah,
going to leverage on it forever. As long as you know
yeah,
how to do your marketing, it's always going to be valuable. So I
yeah.
encourage video at all times.
At
And then
all
have
times.
your story scripted,
Yeah,
with it, and you'll be good.
yeah. I
You'll
advise
be
that
good.
too. I would say if she can make personalized videos for her clients, that would be the best thing to do.
Yeah, and
That's
get
what I would do.
testimonies also.
Testimonials work. They really do.
They
Um,
do.
how to's like how to do this, debunking
Hmm.
certain exercises. Make those. Um,
Yeah.
there's a couple IG pages right now. All they talk about is gym craziness, like people
Yeah.
doing wrong exercises. So you can like
Hmm.
show somebody doing something wrong and go, have you seen this picture in your gym lately? Have you wondered how to do this exercise? Try this way. And then you're doing a
Hmm.
whole tutorial. They can do that. That's a big market for tutorials,
Yeah. And one good
how
thing
to's.
that to do is, especially when you're on social media, depending on whatever your niche is, when you decide, like, let's say I'm running apparels, or, I'm into books or whatever.
Mm,
Once you know what you're doing, follow the people that are in your same niche and
exactly.
see what they're doing and try to duplicate
Exactly.
that. But follow people that are really doing it. Like,
That's true.
when you can tell that
Yeah.
somebody is really marketing,
Hmm.
because first of all, you're going to see value in all of their scripts and
Yeah.
videos and the
Yeah.
picture. It's going to make you, like, if you follow somebody that you keep going back to, that's part of the value because you're captured,
Yeah.
you're
Because you
plugged in,
captured. Let me see
somebody
what
like
they
that.
doing.
Yeah, you want to see what they're doing. Let's see how they formulated the whole script that they wrote, how long it
Hmm.
was, because you could
Yeah.
tell if you're playing with algorithm or not. The longer the script, they playing with algorithm, buddy. You know, because you could. Let me tell you, Instagram. The longer
Yeah.
the script, You fill it up to the rim where there's no other space for you to put
Mm-hmm.
in. Your algorithm is set. The entire Instagram has it available. Okay, everybody could see what you wrote, you
Is there a
know? So
universal
you got to use all those
skeleton?
things.
That's true. I see we got lipstick question. Is there a universal skeleton that works when entering the media world for the first time? Oof, not really. I would say don't be afraid to try certain things. I learn best when I fail, if that makes any sense. Like I don't need to be a perfectionist. Like I learn, like let me try this, let me try this. Oh, that didn't work. And then learn from your mistakes, if that makes any sense. There's really
Mm.
no skeleton per se. Learn the different nuances of how to market, email. Oh, here's something. The number one viewed device is the cell phone. Number two is the tablet. Number three is the desktop. Number four is the television. These are some of the stats that they gave me at Fox when I worked there. They say, statistically speaking, no one watches TV without their phone either in their hand or 6 feet of reach. Because you know why? When they say something on TV, what's the first thing you do? Let me Google it. Let me fact check it. Even when you go to the bathroom, you got your phone with you. So any business you have, you got to get into the cell phone. I would say try to get into the cell phone first, if that makes any sense. Let that be your landing page, because nowadays some people they don't even have websites. They have landing
Landing
pages.
pages. And that could
Yeah,
serve as the website
that can
because,
serve as
you
the
want
website.
people to opt in.
Yes, yes, you got to have
Yeah.
a landing page. So if you
Yeah.
don't have a full-fledged website, a landing page will work just fine. It's just one
Yeah.
page,
Yeah.
just basic capturing information. I would say do that. And also utilize, it depends on what kind of business you have, but geofencing, geo behavior retargeting are key. These are
Yes.
key. Especially when I worked at Fox and we had car dealerships, they really utilize geofencing. If you
Mm-hmm.
everybody got a phone. If you look at certain games, you ever wonder why there's ads in there? That's geofencing. These
Geofencing.
people
Mhm.
pay this money to put that ad into the phone because they know you're watching the phone. They got to
Yeah.
capture information. They can geofence 6 feet radius. Toyota can geofence their competition in the showroom floor. Like they know when
Yes.
people walk the cars, they're scrolling. Let me see if I got a good deal, and then their competition pops up in the phone. So let's pick one random since I'm into fitness. If you are a fitness apparel company, I would find a trainer. I would find a gym. I would find a mom and pop gym and go, hey, I make clothes. I know you got to have uniforms for your employees. Use my company. I can save you some money, if that makes any sense. And then let those
Mm-hmm.
people be your fans. Let them talk about you, if that makes any sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
back in martial arts days, we would do school talks. That's how I was able to go. That's really how my motivation speaking took off. So before the child or the adult got their belt, we gave them a good job note that they had to have their teachers sign off for. Like, are they
Mm-hmm.
good in school? Are they good at home? And then often the teachers would like go, what are you teaching little Johnny? Come show me. So we would go into the school and teach life skills, how to say yes, sir, yes, ma'am, eye contact, firm handshake, respect, stand up tall. That got into one class, then it opened up to this whole school, and then all of a sudden schools would call you to speak. There's a big niche, there's a big calling for public speaking that they will pay you stupid money to do. And if you're an
Yes.
expert in a certain field, that's even better. And like we talked
Yes.
about earlier, stories help.
Yes.
Stories help. And even the more grimier the story, the better. Like
Yep.
there's no difference between you and Tony Robbins.
Yep.
Zero.
The only
None.
thing you gotta do is speak your truth, and that's it.
Speak your truth. And matter of fact, the more grimier it's been, the better. Like some of these gurus, some of these people have never struggled. They've never been homeless. They've never been molested. They've never been locked up. They can't really talk about that. Off the subject, when we were living in San Antonio, Texas, there was this church, and they had this huge van, and it was a homeless simulator machine where you
Mm-hmm.
can walk in and pretend you're homeless. I'm like, that's disrespect for someone who's really been evicted. That's disrespect
Yeah.
for someone who's really been homeless. So if
Hmm.
someone's really been in that situation, you're more of an advocate to actually speak about these things. You don't need a
As a matter of
simulation
fact,
to go through. Come
as a
on.
matter of fact, you become an asset.
You become an asset. You see?
Yep.
So that's my little 2 cents. So if I have a hat company, I bet this is my logo, the R2. And you
The
know how I
art
got
too.
that name? Artifacts. So I
Yeah.
was the
Tell
I
us.
was the I was the fitness manager at this gym in Texas, and I had to do payroll for 30 trainers. And back then, payroll, you got to sign it with it wasn't online. I got tired of signing my whole name, so I did my initials, RR, RR. So one day when my colleagues came in, another trainer, because I talked to her about her overtime, and she said, "Oh, what's up, R2?" I'm like, "R2," and she says, "Yeah, because you have two R's, you know." I'm like, "R2, R2." I'm like, "Huh, I like that." So she used to call me R2. So how did Artifact come about? So I was an older trainer, and I was like, what? I wanted to pick a name that didn't just say me. Like I didn't want to be called, oh, Ramiro Fitness or Billy Blanks. I didn't want to. My ego was involved naming a company. So I was like,
Right.
how can I separate it? Still keep my initials, but represent everybody else. I'm like, when you dig up old things, they're artifacts because they still have some value. So I'm like,
Hmm.
artifact, R2Fact, artifacts. So that's how that name came.
That is so dope. I love the
That's the story.
story. And there goes
That's the
another
story.
story.
That's the
There goes
story.
another story. Oh my
And that
God. Thank
yeah,
you so
that
much for
was it.
sharing that.
You're
And it
welcome.
fits you well.
Oh, thank you.
It
Thank you.
really
Thank you.
does.
Thank you.
Wow.
So
So
that's my advice.
Beauty Baby saying here, lipstick commercials make women buy that red lipstick because the ad is showing a beautiful woman with red lips, and
Yep.
it's that targeted woman. It targets women to get that lipstick. Absolutely. Most
That's
ads
right.
are done with red lipstick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really true.
And just to be completely open and honest, sex sells. It really does. If it's done the right way.
It's
Like
done. As long as
I've
it's
been unless it's done classy. Like I've been making videos
exactly. That's what I
for
was gonna say.
10,
Clean.
I've been making videos for 10 years. 10. It wasn't until I got a co-host, female, making the same videos, people like going, "Oh, I see you making videos now." I'm like,
They notice you.
okay.
Hmm.
They noticed. I can
Yeah.
have the same identical outfit, do the same machine. I'll get like maybe 400 or 500 likes, 500 views. But if she does it, 10,000, 14,000 makes no
Yeah.
sense. So whatever business you have, try to get the opposite sex if you can,
And
and
bold.
play
Hmm.
on that if that makes any sense. So I keep going back to the apparel company. Find some trainers and let them wear it. That's what Gymshark
Yes.
did. They use all those influencers, and the material is really nice too.
Yes.
So that's what I would do. Oh,
Awesome, awesome,
and
awesome.
you can white label anything.
Yes, let's talk about white label really quickly before we're done, because that is
Okay.
something that I think a lot of people need to understand. And I mean, how simple it is to manufacture your own stuff, like to really create your own line in like minutes, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
Seriously.
anything. You can white label coffee. You can white label wine. You can white label gin, liquor. You can even white label a digital media company. So before we had that department, we white labeled it until it grew,
Absolutely.
so we can hire. So we had employees to hire our own team. So it's Vendasta.
Hmm.
I used them for many years, and they have different tiers. They have a free one, then it goes to like $50 a month, and then it goes to 100, and then it jumps up to like $500 a month. But they'll do everything for you. They'll call for you. They'll do your marketing for you. So I advise someone to do that if they want to. That's somebody said about a skeleton. So Vendasta.com.
Vendasta is the one legit company for white
They're
label.
legit for white label.
Hmm.
They're legit. Do their free version first, just so you can learn the nuances and how to market, because they have all the templates for you. They're
Yeah.
there. And you can be your own digital media company um,
Hmm.
on somebody else's dollar until you can
Yeah.
build up your own thing. You can white
And
label.
this is what a lot of the big guys use. Like you have rappers having lines and everything. A lot of it is white label. You know, a lot of celebrities, they have many different lines. Trust me,
Yeah,
it's white label.
white
Okay?
label.
And they
Even
profit from it.
I think it's Snoop Dogg. He's got a wine now under with 19 crimes. Have you seen it?
Yes, yes, white
Yeah,
label.
white
Okay?
label. Yeah,
When Diddy came out with Ciroc, white
Ciroc,
label.
white label.
Okay, white
Yeah,
label.
he
All
he
right.
found, he
So,
found a nice little bottle and was like,
you
"Huh,
know,
what am I gonna call it? Let's call it some Ciroc," and then
the whole
just sell it.
Kardashian clan, white label.
Oh, white label. You stay the queen of white labels.
Okay. All right. So you guys got so much value
They
tonight.
did. They
And thank
did
you
for
so
free.
much, Ramiro. But you know, it's it's tidbits, a lot of information, a lot of good stuff, but it's tidbits
Wow.
enough to get your mind going, to have you really like think and know, oh, I can write this down and go back and check on it. And then
Yes,
when you do the research, you get even more information.
that's
And
right.
based on what you want to do, you pretty much have an idea or, you know, how to go about it maybe. Because if
Yeah,
you were to talk to somebody else, they'd be like, oh, I know Van Dasser. I know that company. It's pretty legit. I know this. I
yeah,
know that. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
at least you could step into the door knowing
yeah.
what you're talking about, at least
Someone
have
won't
some
even
sense.
someone won't even tell you that they white label.
Thank you.
They don't tell
I
you.
know about that because I do my research, you know? But hey,
Before we get up, there was a guy who had he had a streaming company, and I knew him. I'm like, damn, brother, you doing it? You know, I mean, you got movies, you streaming. Like, how'd you do that? Oh yeah, well, I got some business partners and blah blah this, that, and the third. I'm like, okay. And then if you scroll all the way down to the bottom in the fine print, it said powered by some other company. And I love Google. So I'm like, let me Google that company. Google takes you here. Google that takes you there. And I'm like, it's a white label company. And then
yes,
when I was asking him the questions, he wouldn't answer them anymore. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know too
yeah,
much.
yeah. Let me tell you guys, go and Google white labeling, okay?
Yeah.
And you will enter a whole new world.
Whole
You
nother
know,
world.
Beauty Baby, that is something that you probably want to look into also with the lip gloss company that you're doing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
those
yeah,
of
yeah.
you who are in apparel, I mean,
Yep.
anything, makeup, whatever, you know. So, I
And
mean, even,
before we get off, I'm gonna drop this one thing too. When we were in Malaysia a couple of years ago, you know how much a weave costs? Bundles,
yes.
$4 American in Asia.
Oh, yeah.
When they come over here, 150, $80 a bundle.
Hmm.
There's lipstick companies right now in Asia that will white label it for you. Or there's white label makeup companies in the States. Google it, find out what you want. They'll help you with the branding. They'll help you with the marketing. They'll help you with the label. Pay a little price. Use that just to get your feet wet until you get a bigger following, and then boom, take off with it. That's what I would
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Alibaba,
Oh, yeah, for sure. You have Alibaba, you have AliExpress,
AliExpress.
you
That's
know.
right. I forgot about them.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, AliExpress. I mean, I've done some stuff with them and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
they're
good.
pretty good, you
They're
know.
good.
So, I mean,
We talked a lot. So if someone has any kind of questions, reach out to me, send me a direct message, send my girl a direct message. I'd love to answer any questions you have.
and those
Like I
of you
said,
who are on Rizzo, by all means, everything that we talked about today, you have enough content to create a whole bunch of videos and ask questions.
yeah,
So just give it 60 good seconds of
yeah,
whatever it is that we talked about, and we could bring it on to the platform. Hey, you got a lot of content from this show right here.
sure did. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
You're so welcome. It was such a pleasure to have you on board. And
Don't
we
be a
learned so
stranger.
much about you. We're not going to
Thank
be
you,
a
thank you.
stranger.
Oh,
You
someone
know,
said they got a question to add before we go. I have a question
what's your
to ask.
question, Beauty Baby?
What's up?
Oh, she's going to add you on Instagram. He's
Oh,
R2Facts.
yeah,
Okay.
artifacts. Yeah, R2 facts. Yeah, ask me a question because, like I'm saying, if you're in the beauty industry, fitness industry, There's companies right now looking for you, looking.
Yeah.
Like you can white label. Here's one for you. So a friend of mine, he launched. Damn, where is it? I got to show you. Bam! Look at this. Got his own protein. Look at that.
Mushroom.
I'm telling you,
Okay.
you can white label anything. You can make your own protein powder. So you know what
Yes.
they
Your own
don't.
potato chips,
Your own
whatever.
potato. You know what they don't have? We only got 5 people in here right now. I'm about to drop some jewels. I love
But
coffee.
it's gonna be posted though. It's gonna be posted
Oh,
on
perfect,
IG.
perfect.
And
I,
yeah.
I love coffee. I love my protein.
Yeah.
They do not have a protein and coffee mix yet. It's coming.
Mm.
It's coming. I see it because when I jump up on TV, I needed my protein shake and I wanted my coffee at the same time. So
Oh, okay.
I didn't have time. So I mixed it together. Shook it up. Tastes great. Yeah, white labels. You can white label lipstick,
Yeah.
face cream.
Put in white
Um,
labels in Google and a whole
yeah,
bunch of information will come up. Or put white labeling,
yeah,
that
white
comes
labeling
up too.
companies. Yeah, it'll come
Yeah.
up. But again, thank you so much. I mean, I
You're
love
so
this.
welcome.
I really appreciate it. I hope this
You
isn't our
know,
last interview. I hope this isn't our last interview.
no, we will have you come back. We'll create a space for you. There are some
All right,
people
perfect.
who have done so well on the Martine show that they want to come back. So I've created a space for them to come back. So November, you happen to be the only new person I would say for November interview. And then the rest are going
Okay.
to be people who are returning because
Yeah,
they've
yeah.
had turning points in their lives and they want to come back and share their story. So
Mm,
thank you so much for everything that you shared with us
you're
because you're right
welcome.
up
You're
the
welcome.
alley, with the show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate
and
it.
stuff. Yeah, so we definitely will look forward to having you come back
Perfect.
and
Thank
give
you
us
so much.
more gems for real.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
thank you all who came through in the
Yeah,
chat
I see my
room,
girl
all
Queen.
the
Queen, thank you so
questions
much.
and
Beauty
everything.
baby, thank you. Thank you for being here.
Okay, it's such a pleasure. So at this time, we're going to end it and
All
then we'll
right.
meet you all on the next show. Take care.
Yes,
Have a good
ma'am.
one.
All right, bye now.
Bye bye.